Welcome back, everyone, to episode 74. I mean, 71. Sorry, my mind's going everywhere right now. It's been a fun day for me. But welcome back to episode 71 of Talking ATL Hawks. I am with you, the best crew I could possibly ask for. The Jefferson twins and myself, fellas. How are we doing today? How's your week been?
It's been I'd say it's been a pretty good week. The weather's just been absolutely tremendous.
Oh,
It, it's
100%. That Groundhog lied because they said that it'd be like 6 more weeks of winter. But
well, funny enough, we are projected to get snow this week. I don't know how we're going to come from this to
what?
all. Yeah, we're projected to get snow this week. It's absolutely stupid. But hopefully that doesn't actually happen. But what I'm really most excited about is that it is the most beautiful time of the year because once it hits March, that means March Madness is finally here. And when March Madness is finally here, that means the NIT tournament is finally here. And nothing gets better than the NIT.
Go Knowles.
Okay,
Knowles.
okay. That's Robert McRae's fault. They aren't in the
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Buddy
the
did everything for us
actual.
that night. I would not put the blame on that man.
I would. He took a stupid 3 point shot with like 6 seconds left,
It
and
wasn't stupid.
It
It
wasn't
wasn't.
small.
It wasn't preferred, but it was a wide open three. It
y'all
wasn't
needed y'all
preferred.
needed y'all just need 2 points, not three.
It wasn't.
Anyway,
It was. First of all, let's get the record straight. It wasn't 6 seconds. It was at the buzzer. Like as soon as the ball left his fingertips,
I
the
think there
clock
was some
went off.
time
That
left.
was
They shot
literally.
that. I think there was some
Now
time.
there's like a
Yeah.
second left after he missed. There's like a second left.
Oh, well.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Anyways,
But yeah, he definitely should have drove in. I'm not denying that, but it wasn't a
okay.
stupid shot. Like
Arkansas is about to be
was
revealed. But speaking of March Madness, Arkansas just won the SEC tournament, and we are playing Hawaii on Thursday. We are a 4 seed.
Oh, the Rainbow
Warriors.
Warriors, baby.
Watch
Playing
out for the
Hawaii.
Rainbow Warriors.
We are playing Hawaii.
Low key, I'm gonna pick Hawaii to win beat Arkansas on my bracket.
I love this bracket, by the way. Not
Yeah.
gonna like so far, like Louisville, South Florida, UCLA, UCF. Those are Ohio State, TCU. These are some prime matchups right here.
Yeah, so I'm just like in case you guys don't know, like we're recording this during the March Madness bracket reveal. So we are like live reacting to the actual March Madness bracket, which only really I am because I really have a stake in the bracket. But anyways,
Hold on.
Andrew, how's your week going?
It's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. Like Chase said, the weather's been warming up nicely. I did jam my right hand pretty bad. So that's been kind of bugging me all week. But aside from that, the weather's made up for it. March Madness starts next week, so very excited about
Yes,
that.
best time of the year.
It's time to start building your brackets, but most importantly, the Atlanta Hawks are on their longest winning streak since the 2015-2016 season. We are standing at 9 currently, going for 10 in a row tomorrow, and what is arguably the biggest game of the season against the Orlando Magic on what coulda, shoulda, woulda been Magic City Monday.
Yeah, we
But
gotta get into that. So it was what, Wednesday of last week, or what day was it? Did they decide to cancel it? It was either
I
Wednesday or
think
Thursday.
I think it was on a Wednesday. I think.
Yeah, so Wednesday, the NBA decided to cancel the Magic City promotion. Which, if you guys don't know, it's an adult activity. It's an adult
Whoa,
dancing place
hold on, no.
that serves great wings. That serves great wings.
No, John's lying, guys. It's literally a wing restaurant that's so good that women just take their clothes off. Well, I don't know why. I can't know what they do. The wings are just that good. I don't know what John's talking about, bro. I have no idea what he's talking about. It's just your typical wing place, man.
Andrew, I don't think you've ever, Andrew, you've never been to Magic City, so you don't know.
Hey, man, I just because I've never been doesn't mean I don't know what goes on in there, man. I just know that
Anyway,
they're limited.
so yeah,
That's what Williams.
And like, it's not just because like NBA. Well, there's some NBA players that were outraged by the. That were upset that the Hawks were doing too, like Luke Cornett and somewhat Hawks legend Al Horford, which I don't think we claim him anymore, even though he was part of that 2015 team when we won the East back in 2015.
We love you, Al.
But not really. Screw you. But yeah, so we gotta cover 3 games between the
Mavericks, Nets, and Bucks.
yeah, Mavericks, Nets, and Bucks. So but for my start bench cut, which isn't really a start bench cut, since it is Selection Sunday, I need to know. I'm sure you guys know who I'm picking. If it's not obvious. But I want to know, since we're all in a bracket challenge anyway, I just want to know, who are y'all picking to win it all this year?
Wait, before we get into
actually, I got 2 things. Who are y'all picking, and who are y'all picking to win the national championship, and who is the team that y'all think is going to go on that Cinderella run? So pick 2 teams.
Before we get into that, John, let me ask you this: Is Arkansas like your unbiased pick? Like, if you were never an Arkansas fan, who would you legitimately have winning it all?
Well, Arkansas is a good pick. I mean,
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm asking. I'm not saying it's a bad pick. I'm just asking.
Here's the thing. Yes, I'm being biased, but like also like I know that we have a legit shot to make it to the Final Four and win it all. Like, so like yes, I'm being a bit biased because I'm a fan, but like
I'm not hating on the pick. Yeah, I think it's a good pick.
Yeah. So I'm picking Arkansas as my championship pick. But Andrew, I'm gonna let you start. Who do you have winning it all, and who's your Cinderella run pick? Even though the bracket hasn't completely come out yet, you can still pick if you want. I mean,
yeah. Now my answer may change when I start building my bracket, but off the top of my head, I think Duke is going to win the national championship. I think this past week they proved why they're the best team in college basketball, which there's been a lot of back and forth. Is it Michigan? Is it Duke? But then Duke went out and beat Michigan during the regular season and debunked that argument. And then during the ACC tournament, they went on their run. They took over the ACC tournament. They barely escaped a Florida State team. But then they manhandled the crap out of
Clemson.
That's right, Clemson. And then they beat Virginia last night to win the ACC championship.
It was a pretty close game. I thought like Duke was going to choke that.
It was a great game. But the reason why, it's not the fact that they won the ACC tournament that makes me think that they're the best team in college basketball. It's the fact that they did it without 2 of their starters. And it's not like 2 starters that aren't really like it's not their big 3-headed monster, but those 2 starters that were absent for Duke are their 2 best defenders on that entire team. So that was a very big defensive shift that they had to adjust to, and they still went out, proved everybody wrong, won the ACC tournament, and manhandled Clemson. That Clemson game was probably the biggest surprise because Clemson looked really good going into that matchup, and Duke just treated them like they were just a pushover. Now, my surprise team, obviously the bracket's not completely out yet, but on the top of my head, I really like this TCU team. They have been a sneaky team in the Big 12 all season long. They've pulled out some pretty incredible upsets along the way, and they just play really good team basketball. Like, I watched a couple of TCU games this year, and they move the ball better than most teams I've seen play so far this season. And I think, it's all about who gets hot at the right time. And TCU, they didn't obviously win the Big 12 tournament, but they ended the regular season on a really strong note, and I think they're going to gather that momentum. And I'm not saying they're going to make the Final Four, but I could see them maybe in the Sweet 16 and potentially making a push for the Elite 8.
Chase?
Andrew hit the nail on the head with the Duke pick. I mean, like you said, Cameron Boozer, best player in college basketball. I think he's undoubtedly number one. Isaiah Evans, right behind him. That they're a great duo together. And I'd like you mentioned, Andrew, they winning the ACC with two of their best defenders not playing. Even though they won the ACC and they looked really good doing it, they still weren't the same Duke team. Like you could tell they were lacking, even though they went through the gauntlet and won the ACC. So that just shows you that even when they're lacking, they're still a dominant team. They're the deepest team in college basketball, and until they prove me wrong, I see no reason not to pick Duke to win the national championship. And all season, I've not seen one thing that have proven that statement wrong. So they're my pick to win it all. My surprise team, though, are the UCF Knights of the Big 12. And if you look through their schedule, they're very inconsistent. They're very up and down. They'll look really good one day and really bad the next. But they have a lot of impressive wins on that schedule. They beat Kansas, Texas Tech. They manhandled BYU. I mean, those are some impressive wins against teams that could make a very big jump in March Madness. So if UCF can play really competitive against those teams in the regular season, who's to say they can't do it when it matters the most? So I think UCF could be a team that I would not be too surprised if they make it to the Elite Eight. But I do have to say they are in Duke's region. So if they did that, they would have to make it past Duke. And I don't see that happening, but it would completely shock me if they're one of the teams that could surprise us and make it that far.
Okay, so obviously I've already said who I'm taking. I know it's a bit biased, but also I do think
it's not a bad pick.
Yeah,
it's not a bad pick.
It's not a bad pick at all. The 4 seed, they just won the that tournament. They got a top 3 guy in the nation, a National Player of the Year finalist, and Darius Jacobs Jr. I see no reason why not to pick Arkansas to possibly meet Duke in the Final Four.
That would be a crazy matchup.
Yeah. Like a rematch from Thanksgiving when we faced off in Chicago when we only lost by I believe 8 or 9 points. So I'm taking my Razorbacks to win it all, and you know what, y'all. I believe y'all both went in this. I think y'all both went in the wait. Andrew, who'd you say was your sleeper to make a run?
TCU. We both went Big 12 teams.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Conference USA, and I'm gonna say Kansas State.
Oh, they just, the Owls.
Yeah, they just won the conference. They just won the conference in year 2 being year two of being in that conference. Like they're a sleeper team to make it far. I really think that they got a shot to make it.
You think they're gonna beat Gonzaga?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't think. Hot take. I don't think Gonzaga is really a blue blood of college basketball anymore. I think they've lost their stuff. Ever since Chet left. I think Gonzaga's kind of falling off a tad bit. That's a hot take. I know.
I'm not too high on Gonzaga this tournament. Jalen Warley, one of the best defending guards in college basketball and former Seminole, so I got to give him a shout out. Is one they have a really good backcourt, a really good defending backcourt. I think that could cause some problems for a lot of teams, but offensively they're not that strong. Their offensively is a reason I'm not too high on Gonzaga.
Well, the thing about Gonzaga is, yeah, you guys are right. They definitely don't have the strongest roster in basketball. But at the end of the day, Mark Fu is hands down easily going to go down as one of the greatest college basketball coaches of all time. So any team that he coaches, I am not going to take lightly. So, yeah, even though on paper they're not the strongest team in college basketball, with a head coach like Mark Fu, they're always going to be up there with the – I don't want to say blue blood category, but teams that could definitely go out and win a natty at any given year. So,
what about Texas and What about Texas and NC State in that first four matchup? That is a crazy first four matchup.
Mm.
I like that. I like that matchup a
NC State,
lot.
Texas and NC State are both very streaky teams. Like they've had stretches in the season where they look really good, but they've also had their really bad stretches. So I guess it's just going to be which one of those teams are hot going into that game. But yeah, that should be a fun one. That should be a fun one for sure.
So I guess with that being said, we have our March Madness picks, our sleeper picks, our natty picks. So let's get into some Hawks basketball finally. So like we said, we're on a 9-game win streak. This week we played Dallas, the Nets, and the Bucks, beating all three of them pretty handily. I would say. So yeah, on Tuesday we I'm not to mention this. We also played them at home as well. So we had like home court advantage as well. But I digress. It's still a good win. These are still great wins to have, especially with the standings. And I believe we're also number 8 in the East. 8 in the East now because Philly for some reason keeps winning. I don't know why, but I mean, hey. But yeah, so on Tuesday we faced off against Dallas at home. And they and we did not have a Congo because of his injury, but we had no, I mean not a Congo. We had a Congo. Kaminga. My bad. Kaminga.
Right, Kaminga.
I'm sorry. But we had Okongwu, Jalen Johnson, CJ McCollum, and Dyson Daniels in the starting lineup for this one. And Dallas had Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, Cooper Flagg, and Marcus Christie. The leading scorer for this game was Jalen Johnson with 27, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. Okongwu followed that with 18 points, 9 rebounds. CJ McCollum had 13, 9, and 4. Oh no, I'm sorry. No was the leading scorer with 29 points. 29 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Dyson Daniels had a double-double with 14 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds. Mo Gay had 9 off the bench. Zachary had 4. Gabe Vincent had 8. Corey Kispert had 2. What are your thoughts on this game?
For me, it was, the Hawks, never, they led the entire way. There was not one moment in this game the Hawks was down, but it wasn't until late in the game that the Hawks were able to pull away. But I think one thing what was that, Andrew? I'm sorry.
I just said it got really sketchy.
It did. It did get really sketchy. But one thing the Hawks did very well consistently all night was defend the rim. We totaled 8 blocks. Cooper Flagg had a really off night. He only shot 6 for 16. Matter of fact, he had such an off night. Dyson Daniels was locking him down the entire night, had a couple steals off of him. That was a very impressive defensive matchup to see. But the 404 crew in State Farm Arena was chanting, "Who are you?" to Cooper Flagg every time he touched the ball. Well, Jack thought that was very disrespectful, but very hilarious because Dyson Daniels was just locking him up. But I mean, that's something that I think that's why Cooper Flagg had such an off night. Was that something that they tried to force? They gave Cooper Flagg the ball at the top of the key like they usually do, and they tried to get him to force his way inside. And Dyson Daniels did such a good job preventing that. And anytime they did try to go inside, Okongwu was defending the rim very well. Same thing with Corey Kispert and that not Corey Kispert, Jock Landale. And I have to say that awful haircut. I'm not a fan of him shaving his head at all. I'm sorry, Jock Landale, but if I've got to be honest, I feel like your game's been a little off since you shaved your head too. And I'm sorry to say that, but very impressive that the Hawks are just able to keep Cooper Flagg from being effective. The only guy on the Mavericks that really gave us problems was number 1, Chris Middleton. But not till the second half and later down the stretch, Klay Thompson turned back the clock, and he was just lights out from deep. I believe he was their leading scorer as well. But yeah, defensively, I really liked how the Hawks played. But Ange, I'm going to kick it off to you, and I kind of want you to open up how the Hawks played offensively and what kind of kept them consistent, even though the Mavericks kind of stayed right behind them for most of the game.
Sure. Yeah, I think just going back to who the headline performer was, I mean, Nickeil Alexander-Walker has, really been leading the Hawks in big ways over this 9-game win streak. And this one in particular, like Joyner said, he posted 29 points, and even attacking the defense. I mean, the Mavericks defense, they weren't the healthiest team in the world, but he was just attacking that defense for pretty much all levels. And he was just that guy on the court that gave Atlanta a consistent scoring option throughout the night. Because we did have moments in the game where shots just weren't falling. And then right behind him, Joyner mentioned, Jalen Johnson added that 27 points. And, once again, he just looked like that engine that just kind of kept the Hawks team running. And, of course, what really stood out to me, though, was just ball movement and versatility. This is something that I think Quinn Snyder has really preached and tried to build upon during this win streak, because the Hawks, you take a look at the last 9 games, the Hawks don't rely on that just one superstar taking over. It's multiple guys contributing. Dyson Daniels, you guys talked about it already. He stuffed the stat sheet with his 14 points, 7 rebounds, 10 assists. Chase talked about his 3 steals. And it just shows how valuable his two-way play has become for the Hawks during this win streak. And then, Atlanta, we just attacked them on transition, because Dallas, we forced the Mavericks defense through a lot of just tough rotations all night, because when Atlanta, the way that Quinn Snyder kind of talked about during the postgame was he really pushes the Atlanta's tempo to be that kind of offense that forces defense to not rotate well. So that way it opens up easier looks at the rim and, of course, from the three-point line. And then defensively, the Hawks were just solid. Dallas, like Chase said, they still got production from their stars, even though Cooper Flagg was shut down. Klay Thompson had his moment where he looked like Klay Thompson again. But for the most part, Atlanta did a great job just preventing the game from turning into a shootout, because, of course, what Quinn Snyder does very well is once he realizes momentum shifting, he's going to try to keep control and pace by just calling a timeout and then answering the Mavericks run with his own scheme. But I think it just comes down to confidence at the end of the day. Atlanta, we didn't squeak by, but we controlled the game for long stretches. And at this point in the season, stacking wins matters, because as we all know, it's just going to keep building, the belief in the locker room, especially with how tight the Eastern Conference window is. I mean, the 9th seed and the 6th seed are just barely separated right now. So the Atlanta Hawks have the advantage to do something special this year and get us out of the play-in tournament finally. But with the way this team's playing, I think it's just, trust and depth. It's what kept the Hawks going through the rough stretches of this game, which eventually led into a win.
Hey, go ahead. No, go ahead, John. You go ahead.
You go ahead, because I was about to move on if you weren't going to say anything.
I was going to bring this up real quick, a little bracket update. I want your thoughts on this. How do y'all feel about them putting Miami, Ohio in the first of 4 playing SMU in the playing game? How do y'all feel about them having 31-1 Miami, Ohio in the play-in bracket facing SMU?
They went undefeated into the conference tournament. I think that it's kind of deserved.
Yeah, I really hate the argument about how Miami, Ohio's strength of schedule should keep them out of March Madness, because it's stupid. Because listen, it doesn't matter what conference you're in, going 31-0 is nearly impossible. Because if it was so easy,
especially in the game of basketball,
if it was so easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would do it if it was so dang easy. But no, we haven't seen a team go 31-0 since Kentucky did it back in 2014 or 2015, whichever year it was. Undoubtedly, even though they didn't win the MAC tournament, undoubtedly they should be in March Madness, 100%. SMU is going to be an exciting matchup. I think Miami, Ohio matches up very well with SMU, because they're both quick tempo teams. SMU is actually on the struggling end of their season. So Miami, Ohio might be catching them at the right time. So don't be surprised if they go up there and the Big Red steals one.
I don't want you to misunderstand my question. I wasn't asking y'all if y'all like Miami Ohio being in. I was asking y'all how do y'all feel about them being a first four team instead of being like the field of 68, like them being on the play-in side. Do y'all think
Oh.
that's fair or do y'all think that's disrespectful?
I sort of like see why they like. I feel like like for me, like I feel like they would have been like in the field of 64. Like, have they gone like deeper into the MAC tournament? But since they got round one exit, I think that I think they made the right call putting him in the first four in.
Yeah, I think I. Sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
No, I was just going to say Joyner's absolutely right. And I think it makes everybody happy because it makes the people who don't think they deserve to be in happy because they're not in the field of 68. And it makes the other side happy because they get their opportunity. This could be like a prove-it game for them, you know? They win this game, they shut everybody up, and they get their rightful spot in the tournament. Or they lose this game, and then so be it. So I think it makes everybody happy. So, yeah, I like it.
I think it's fair because, yeah, like you said, Andrew, I'm totally agreeing with you with saying, like, it doesn't matter that they had one of the worst strength of schedules in college basketball because no matter who you play, going undefeated 31-0 is very, very impressive. But I'm with you.
Here's the thing about like having like a terrible like strength of schedule. Like if that was the case, why have these ASUN teams in? Why have these other like small conference teams in? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like it's impressive nonetheless because you can't help you have to play with the cards you're dealt, and if you're taking care of business like you should be rewarded for that. But when it comes to where should they be seating wise, that's when you have to dive in a little deeper and ask, okay, how are they handling the teams they're playing? And I think that's what puts it in question as to why they're a first four team. They're still an 11th seed, which is very respectable, but you have to put them in the first four, obviously, as an 11th seed. And it's because, yes, they went 31-0, but they weren't playing good teams by any means. And a lot of the teams that they beat, they barely beat, and they went into overtime and double overtime a lot of times this year. And then the first round of their conference tournament, they lost to a really bad UMass team. So I think that's why, like you said, Andrew, it's even out the scale. It's given a happy medium. This is a prove-it game because they're saying, hey, we know you have a very impressive record, but you haven't been oppressive with your record. That UMass loss is very alarming. So here's SMU. If you can beat SMU, fine. You get in the field of 64, you have your fun. But if you get manhandled by SMU, this is kind of like, yeah, we were kind of right type of moment. So this is going to be very intriguing. Right off the bat, this might be a little hot take. I think SMU is going to destroy Miami, Ohio. I really do. Might be a hot take, but I'm gonna say SMU by at least 15.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this SMU team. I was at the first half of the season, but towards the latter half of the season, they just really did not impress me. So I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. I actually like Miami Ohio to beat SMU.
Florida got the 1 seed.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean,
a little bit. I don't know. Now that I think about it, maybe a 2 seed would have been more respectable. I mean, Florida's good.
Yeah, Florida by Vandy in the semifinals, though.
You should have put Houston. Houston should have been the 1 seed in the South. Houston should have been the 1 seed.
Yeah, maybe you're right. It is a little surprising.
I don't know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They are really good, though. I'm not going to deny that. But, yeah, I don't think they deserve I think a 3 seed would have made a little more sense and give Houston that 1 seed because they championship and they gave Arizona a run for their money.
Yeah. Should we get back to Hawks basketball?
We did get that was a nice. I had to bring up that question.
It's fine. It's fine. It's still basketball related. It's let's call this episode the March Madness special.
Yeah. There we go.
March Madness special. There we go.
Basketball mixed with March Madness. It doesn't get any better than that.
I like it.
There we go. Okay, so onto our Thursday matchup.
Yep, Thursday.
Thursday
Yep.
matchup against the Brooklyn Nets. We hosted them again because we were on some game homestand. Where again we did not have Jonathan. But no, we did have Jonathan Kuminga back. Jonathan Kuminga finally came back. But we
Mhm.
were without, I believe, Dyson Daniels. We were without him. Um, but so our starters were Corey Kispert, Onyeka Okongwu, Jalen Johnson, CJ McCollum, and with Jonathan Kuminga coming off the bench. Um, and Jalen Johnson was our leading scorer with 21 points. CJ McCollum had the dang near triple. I was a dang near triple double too. Only two with one rebound and one assist shot. One assist shy of his, I think, 13th season triple double.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah. CJ McCollum had 14 points. Didn't shoot well from three at all, going over 7, but still 14 points is okay. Null had 18 points. Okongwu had 13 points, 9 rebounds, almost a double double. Corey Kispert had 7 points. Jonathan Kuminga didn't do well at all scoring wise, but had 9 rebounds. So we hope it's there on the defensive side.
For sure.
Moke had 4 points. Jock Landale had 4 points, and Gabe Vincent had 6 points, and Zachary Richey had one of his rare. I don't want to say like rare games, but I don't want to say like common games, but he had a very good game today. Scoring 19 points, 6 for 12 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, 9 rebounds and 1 assist. Andrew, break this game down for us.
Yeah, so yeah, you guys aptly said, the Hawks, we walked away with another victory, pushing that winning streak to 8 games. And yeah, like you said, John, star of the night was, once again, Jalen Johnson, who, again, like you mentioned, John, he's had so many games where his triple-double total for the season could be at least 5 or 6 more than what it is right now. He's had a handful of games where he's been 1 or 2 stats away from reaching that hump. But yeah, he flirted with a triple-double, but that just means that he contributed to everything on the floor. And, I think Jalen Johnson's that stat line just tells the story of his season, because he's not just scoring, he's rebounding, he's facilitating, he's helping, initiate offense. And when he's playing at that level, that's when the Hawks become extremely, extremely difficult to defend, because the ball just doesn't stick. I mean, just ask the Brooklyn Nets. We all saw that one play where Jalen Johnson was, drilling at the top of the key, made one step forward, then all of a sudden the Red Sea parted and he had the easiest 2 points he'll ever get in his entire career. But then, yeah, let's talk about Zachary Richey, John. You brought it up. Like you said, it is a rare game from Zachary Richey, especially in his sophomore year, because he's experienced that sophomore slump in such a dramatic way this season, that he really needed that 19-point performance that just provided that major scoring boost from the wing. And, it helped set the tone early with Jalen Johnson and Zachary, because we jumped out to a 30-point first quarter, which immediately put the pressure on Brooklyn and forced them to play catch up the rest of the night. And this is another depleted Brooklyn team, Nick Claxton didn't play in this game, so they're already outsized from that matter. They do have a lot of underrated shooters, though. That's kind of where their efficiency relied from. But for the most part, Atlanta did do a great job, limiting what Brooklyn was able to do. The Nets, they never really fully got in a rhythm offensively. The Hawks kept control of the game with that strong, team defense and rebounding. And then we pulled away in like the last 5 minutes of the game. But I think it just goes to, again, what I kind of talked about in the Mavericks game is just one of the biggest improvements we've seen from Atlanta so far this one streak, and this bled into the Nets game, is just, the discipline. I think it just comes from the discipline on the defensive side of the ball. Earlier in the season, we all talked about it. The Hawks had such big issues closing out games, and we allowed opponents to get hot from the three-point line. But in this game, we stayed locked in for 4 quarters, and I just think that's my biggest takeaway. But Chase, I want to hear what you had to say, and I also want to kind of ask you a question at the same time. Talk about how the Hawks were able to, I guess, but I also want to hear your thoughts, Chase, on should State Farm Arena fire that cameraman for smacking the referee in the head with the camera? I mean, how dare he? How dare he turn around and intentionally hit her in the back of the head with that just irritates me. Adam Silver, you need to do better. I mean, I don't think that was an overreaction at all. I think she had every right to be upset because the cameraman should not have been there and he needs to be fired. I will not go on until I see him fired. Chase, what's your thoughts, man?
I'll answer that question. What was the first thing you wanted me to talk about? You cut out.
I was just going to say, I kind of talked about how the Hawks were able to stay connected on the defensive end, kind of go more so into the offensive end, especially in the fourth quarter where the Hawks really made that final push to pull away.
Well, offensively, it wasn't the best game in the world. We actually shot pretty poor, just under 40%. We only shot 30% from deep. What really helped the Hawks out was how, like you said, Andrew, you talked about how outsized Brooklyn was, and we really took that to our advantage, dominated them on rebounds in general, but especially the offensive rebounds, getting 17 offensive rebounds to their 4. That created a lot of second chance opportunities for the Atlanta Hawks. And when you're having a pretty off shooting night like the Hawks were this Thursday, it really helps to collect a lot of second chance opportunities to help lift you up when your shooting's just a little off. And it helps create a lot of, points off those second chance opportunities. And that was a big deal in the fourth quarter. And especially with CJ McCollum, he really helped lift the Hawks' poor shooting percentage. He scored 10. We went on a 10-0 run to open the fourth quarter, all 10 points being scored by CJ McCollum. And that just really set the tone for the rest of the quarter, helped the Hawks, sustain themselves, pull away, and secure their 8th win in a row Thursday night. But in terms of the cameraman, here's the deal. I got to see it from both sides. If you don't know what Andrew's talking about, in the fourth quarter, there was a moment where Jalen Johnson made a really nice play. And, they've done this before. Of course, Jalen Johnson's dad goes to a lot of these Atlanta Hawks games, especially the home games, and he sits courtside most of the time. Gucci Row, as Bob Rathbun calls it. And Jalen Johnson made a really nice play in the fourth quarter. And typically when that happens, especially when it's a big moment of the game, they like to flash a little camera angle to Jalen Johnson's dad just to get his reaction, because he's always a big hype man, getting the crowd hype, getting an electric reaction.
Yeah. The fans love him.
Nothing out of the ordinary. In order to get that shot, especially when you're sitting on Gucci Road, you have to be on the court to get the shot. Now, the cameraman's done this before. He was not in the rest way by any means. He was out of bounds, standing where fans are allowed to stand, and getting an innocent shot of Jalen Johnson's dad. Now, after Jalen Johnson made the bucket, the female referee, I can't remember her name, she was running backwards, she was locked in. She was zoned in. She was keeping her eyes on the play. Got to respect that. And when she was running backwards, she kind of meandered a little too far to the fan side of Gucci Row, and she just smacked the back of her head right into that camera. And I saw the replay. I don't think it was much of an overreact, maybe a little bit. I think she was being a little dramatic, if I'm being honest. But I got to be honest, it did look like it really hurt. So obviously she was in a lot of pain. And when you're in a lot of pain, that can bring out a lot of emotions. Yeah, so she turned She turned around and she got aggravated at the cameraman, kind of saying, like, what the heck are you doing? Get off the court. You're not supposed to be here. Number one, yes, he is allowed to be here there because he was not standing on the court. He was not in the ref's way. It's just when she was running backwards, she got a little too far on the fan side. So I hope she apologized to the cameraman afterwards. I don't think she treated him well. But I do understand she was in a lot of pain. That brings out a lot of emotions. It's just something that happens. But I hope that it was handled properly afterwards.
Yeah, I'm not saying she was dramatic about, her reaction to the pain because, yeah, once you watch the replay, yeah, she smacked hard into that camera. I mean, I bet she probably had a throbbing headache for the rest of the night.
Probably left a nasty knot, too.
Yeah, I just don't like how she was so quick to blame the cameraman for doing something that he gets paid to do. That's what I didn't like about it. I think as an NBA official, you have to understand where your boundaries are, and she was not in her boundary, meaning that she was in the wrong way and not him. That's what I didn't like about it.
Yeah, he was standing where he was supposed to be standing. She came to his territory, which was accidental. She obviously didn't mean to because she was running backwards. But, I do think she was being a little harsh on the cameraman. But, it was just in the heat of the moment. I'm sure they were fine afterwards, and I'm sure it was handled the proper way.
There you go.
No harm, no foul.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no foul on the ref,
Well, yeah, definitely harm on the ref. She probably did have a throbbing headache, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, and no foul on the cameraman because refs can call fouls.
She could have thrown him a tech, I guess.
Imagine if she threw him out of the game. That'd have been the funniest thing ever.
That would have been awesome.
I don't know if they can. If they can kick camera.
I don't.
They can throw fans out of the game. So who's to say they can't throw cameramans out of the game?
It probably had to be like a certain occasion, like the cameraman's like all up on the court or something.
Talking trash to the ref or something.
Yeah. But if it's one of those instances, then yeah, definitely kick him out of the game. But for what he was doing, certainly not, because he was just doing what he gets paid to do.
But so for the final game, we got to talk about. We hosted Milwaukee on Saturday. Saturday.
No, Saturday.
Yeah,
yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Saturday. Yesterday actually. I unfortunately was not able to watch this game because I was in Auburn at a basketball practice. So I will totally let y'all talk us through this game, but just to tell you what stats real quick. Jalen Johnson got his 13th triple-double of the season with 23 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists, shooting 10 for 20 from the field, 2 for 5 from 3. Okongwu had 4 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, a lot of fours. CJ McCollum had 30 points, 10 for 18 from the field, 7 for 10 from 3. 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Noah had 20 points, 7 for 14 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3. Dyson had 8 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Close to a double-double, but it's okay. Corey Kispert had 13 points off the bench. Zachary had 7 points off the bench. Jock Landale had 6 rebounds, and we did not have Kuminga for this night. But I'll take it away.
Funny you should mention that, John. Andrew and I were also not able to watch this game because we were actually out playing golf. So actually, none of us were able to watch this game live.
Okay, okay, guys. I'm sorry that we have to end the podcast here. It's been great talking to you guys. But we are no longer calling ourselves Hawks fans because we all missed the game. See you later.
Hey, I did kind of look back and watch some highlights though, so I could get at least an understanding of what happened. And, first of all, I want to give a proper shout out to CJ McCollum.
Oh, yeah.
A historic night for him. He was our leading scorer with 30 points, but he did make 7 3-pointers, which put him ahead of Paul Pierce and placed him 16th on the all-time career list with 2,147 career three-pointers. So shout out to CJ McCollum and that really big accomplishment.
Including that one 3-pointer he had in the first quarter where he made that dude, back up all the way to the paint with that little nasty step back.
Yep.
Pop that three out. That was pretty.
And, and CJ McCollum still has plenty of basketball left to be played in his career. So I'm sure that he could, I don't know who's 15th, but I'm sure he can move up a little more and, maybe get into the top 15. Who knows?
He's only 87 3-point shots away from the next spot. So he very well could do it by the time he retires.
He can do that in one season. Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully CJ McCollum can, get back into the top 15 on the all-time career list. But from what I understand about this game, I mean, once I knew Giannis was officially rolled out because of that ankle sprain he suffered Monday night, I believe it was an ankle sprain, I knew that Milwaukee had no chance in this game. And the thing about Milwaukee is when they have a roster so centered around one player like Giannis, when that player is missing, and that's why Giannis went on that that's why Milwaukee went on that massive losing streak when Giannis was missing that significant time, was because when you take a core player like Giannis out of a roster that really has no identity without him, their ball control is going to be really sloppy and they're going to be very sporadic on the court. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. And the Hawks took full advantage of it, especially Dyson Daniels, who collected 3 of the Hawks' 10 steals. Milwaukee had 20 total turnovers, allowing the Hawks to get 12 fast break points and 30 points off of those turnovers and just completely outpacing Milwaukee from defense to offense. And it was a pretty back and forth game for the first half, but the Atlanta Hawks absolutely exploded in that third quarter. Outscored them 35-12. CJ McCollum getting 11 of those 30 points in the third quarter. Like John mentioned, Jalen Johnson getting his 12th triple-double of the season, and the Hawks officially collecting their 9th in a row. But yeah, like I said, Quinn Snyder got his team the right mentality. No Kuminga for that night, but we got Dyson Daniels back after missing that one game. Kuminga was out with that same knee injury that caused him to miss 3 games in a row. But Quinn Snyder brought the Hawks in yesterday with the right message, saying, they're without Giannis. We have film on them without Giannis, and their ball control is really sloppy. This is a prime opportunity with Dyson Daniels back in the backcourt to take advantage of the sloppy ball movement. They're going to have no identity, no fluential movement on the offensive end. Take what you can and turn that defense into offense. And the Hawks did that all night long. You got Jalen Johnson, one of the best transition players in the NBA. So it was just a recipe of success, just heading into the game. There was no true way the Hawks could have lost this one unless we just had an abysmal offensive night, which they didn't, because we shot basically 50% from the field. So yeah, just a recipe for success of the Hawks baked to perfection, and that was a beautiful slice of cake. And that gives us the right momentum heading into what's going to be the game of the season, Magic City Monday, tomorrow night against the Orlando Magic. And we are right behind them in the standings. To be exact, as it stands currently, we are 2.5 games behind the Miami Heat, 2 games behind the Toronto Raptors because they beat the Pistons today, and then 2.5 against the Orlando Magic. So we could do some real damage, and create some more chaos within that 5 to 9 spot. Philadelphia might jump us today. They're playing the Portland Trailblazers right now. Actually, Portland's beating them at the moment, so maybe not. They're up by 1 currently. We'll see what happens in Philadelphia there. But, yeah, a chance to take a lot of chaos and a big step forward Monday night. But, Andrew, what you got?
Yeah, I think you said it, Chase. I think, again, you just take a look at what the Hawks' depth was able to do. I mean, you had CJ McCollum, Nikhil Alexander Walker, Jalen Johnson. They all 3 combined for 73 points in this game. And that just showcases how the Hawks had this rich capability for multiple players to step up offensively. And, Atlanta's wings did such a good job knocking down open shots and forcing Milwaukee's defense to, again, rotate on defense. That opens up driving lanes, makes it a lot harder for the Bucks to rely solely on their interior defense. It just goes to what the Hawks just and just like you said, Chase, without Giannis. What's that?
Yeah. Repeat that. You cut out on my end too.
Yeah.
Where do I need to repeat?
Just go back to that last point you made.
I'll just start over because I don't know what I cut out.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Just start over.
Yeah, so what I was saying was, the Atlanta Hawks, this game just really leans into the Hawks, the amount of depth the Hawks have on this team because CJ McCollum, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jalen Johnson, they all three combined for 73 points in this game. And that just shows how the Hawks have such a rich capability to step up for multiple players to step up offensively. And, Atlanta's wings especially just did a really great job knocking down open looks, and it forces Milwaukee's defense to rotate constantly, and that's just going to open up driving lanes and make it a lot harder for the Bucks to rely solely on just their interior defense. And that's a big shout out to how Quinn Snyder has really built this team to space the floor the way that they do. And even defensively, the Hawks made it very difficult for Milwaukee just by, throwing different looks because like you said, Chase, without Giannis, this Milwaukee offense moves a lot differently because they don't have that one cornerstone piece. They're forced to rotate. They're forced to move the ball differently and create open shots for themselves. And that strategy doesn't work against this Atlanta defense because it slows Milwaukee's usual offense rhythm off and it makes it easier for Atlanta to gain that edge. And another big factor is just the energy that the Hawks play with. I mean, especially when you're a part of a team that has this much success going for them right now, the energy is just going to grow constantly. And it just simply makes you look like a more confident team. And, I think Quinn Snyder, he's mentioned it a lot during this win streak, but there's just a true belief that this Atlanta Hawks team can beat just about anybody. And it's a narrative that the Hawks have kind of had to deal with lately because a lot of, fans of this league are saying, yes, Atlanta has won 9 straight, but look at their competition. They've hardly played anybody that has a record above 500. So there's a belief in this team that the Hawks can beat anybody. And now we have a chance to prove it against the Orlando Magic, who holds the seed that we want. And they're on just as big as not as big, but on a notable win streak themselves. They just took down the Miami Heat yesterday, which I think extended their winning streak to 7 games. So this is a really high stakes matchup. And this win also represents something bigger in terms of the historical context because, as I mentioned before, this win solidified the Hawks' biggest win streak since that historical 2015-2016 season when the Atlanta Hawks finished 60-22 and finished first in the Eastern Conference that year. But yeah, if players like Jalen Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and the young wings, if they keep contributing at this level, Atlanta could very well become one of the most dangerous teams heading into the playoffs. And like we mentioned already, most of these games during this win streak, we didn't even have Jonathan Kuminga. Yes, we've seen what he's able to do when he's on the floor, but the fact that we're equally as composed without him brings me a lot of relief. Now, yes, I want Kuminga to play at a consistent level. I'm sick and tired of us getting these big move pieces that we're hardly able to use because they have problems staying healthy. Now, I do understand that he was dealing with these issues with Golden State as well. So this might just have to be something we have to get used to this season, and maybe he'll be fully healthy for next season. If that's the case, then yes, I'm fine because we've already been able to showcase what we're able to do without him. But yeah, it's very exciting times to be a Hawks fan, and I am absolutely stoked for this Magic game tomorrow because it is going to be, like Chase said, one of, if not the biggest game of the regular season for the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, no. I mean, we are quite literally the hardest team in the NBA right now, and our schedule is just going to keep getting better for us because we, again, like we mentioned in this episode, we have the fifth easiest best schedule in the NBA. Like,
And the most home games remaining out of any team in the
yeah.
NBA.
That's true. And yeah, it's just every player on this team has their role and they're playing it so well. And it's just beautiful chemistry. And it's at the point where even when we do have missing pieces, we can just fill in those holes with our depth and still have that same chemistry flowing. And that's a rare thing that you can get with really any basketball team. So when you have that, that's how you know you have something special.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I don't know if you I do have one thing I want to do just really quickly, just for the heck of it. But before we do that, do y'all have any last thoughts?
No, I'm good.
Nope.
Yeah.
I think I said what I need to say.
So for the sake of March Madness, we are going to have our unofficial Talkin ATL bracket, but this is how we're going to do it. We're going to go one by one. It's going to be
already.
Well, this is what we're going to do. It's going to be you, Andrew, lead off, and then you, John, and then me. I'm going to name the matchup, and I don't even want you to think about it. Just on the top of your head, your initial gut reaction, who do you have winning it? Who do you have winning that matchup? So it's going to be like sporadic, like bam, bam, bam. We're going to see what kind of bracket we come up with by doing so.
Speaking of Bam, we got.
Oh, what a transition. You did that on purpose.
I didn't even mean to do that.
You did that on purpose.
Yes, we gotta give our hats off to Bam. We gotta take our hats off to Bam for that crazy performance he had a few nights ago. He broke Kobe Bryant's record against Washington. He was not trying to win, but like you shouldn't also let some score 83 points.
And look, I'm going to shut down the haters that are trying to put an asterisk next to this record breaking. It doesn't matter how you do it. Yes, it did kind of look like Washington was intentionally fouling him just so he could break the record. But the point is, he still had 50-something points in the first half alone. And I was going to put it to you this way. Kobe's 81-point game clears Bam's 83-point game, but Bam's, I mean, that performance is still generational. It's historical, something we're not going to see for a very long time. It's something you still have to tip your hat to because that is one heck of a historic performance.
Yeah, I mean, 40 free throws definitely helps. But yeah, I do hate the narrative that people are trying to write it off as a Mickey Mouse performance because it definitely wasn't. Yes, it was against a crappy team. Yes, they fouled you a lot in the fourth quarter so you could get to the free throw line. But like, if you just take a look at the first three quarters alone, then there's no reason that he didn't deserve to reach that feat. So yeah, Bam Adebayo, hats off to you. But yes, I do agree that Kobe's 81-point game is far more impressive because he didn't have help from the other team essentially. And just the fourth quarter alone, the shots that he made to get to 81 was a lot more thrilling than just a free throw. But that's not to say that Bam is undeserving and not special enough to be acknowledged. It absolutely is. It absolutely does. Yeah. And yeah, so Bam, you have my respect. I hate the Miami Heat with the burning passion. No pun intended. But yes, Bam, you
I mean, I was like, I guess back to your thing, Chase. We can go ahead and get this started.
Is there any way we can pull the bracket up on the screen?
No, because I'm doing it off of my phone. So I'll just name off the matchups and just on the top of the head. Y'all just let me know who y'all got.
Okay, so we're doing Andrew, me, you, right?
Yep.
Okay, got it.
And y'all have like 3 seconds to say it, all right?
Let's run with it.
All right, Andrew. Duke and Siena.
Duke.
All right, John. Ohio State and TCU.
The Buckeyes.
I'm going St. John's over Northern Iowa. All right, Andrew. Kansas and Cal Baptist.
Kansas.
John, Louisville and South Florida.
Ooh.
Cardinals, Louisville.
Ooh. Okay.
I'm choosing Michigan State over North Dakota State. All right, Andrew. UCLA and UCF.
Give me UCF here to take down
I
UCLA.
like it. I like it. All right, John, UConn and Furman.
UConn.
All right. And then I'm going Arizona over LIU. All right, Andrew, Villanova, Utah State.
Give me Villanova on that one.
All right, John, Wisconsin and High Point.
Wisconsin.
All right, I'm choosing Hawaii over Arizona. I'm just kidding. Arizona over Hawaii.
I was about to punch
Crazy work.
All right, Andrew, BYU or the winner of Texas and NC State?
Give me winner NC State. I am not impressed with this BYU team. I love AJ,
I agree.
but I don't think this BYU team is as good as AJ makes it look.
I don't like this BYU team at all. I got to be honest. All right. And then, all right, John, Gonzaga or Kennesaw State?
I said it earlier today. Kennesaw State.
Staying true to it. I like it. I like
Love
it.
I love it.
I'm going to choose Miami over Missouri. I think it's going to be a really close game. That's a toss-up for me. That's a toss-up for me. Miami, Missouri is a toss-up. But
you said that as a Florida.
I know. I know it.
Hold on.
Whoa. Hold on.
Look at this and tell me that again.
All right, I'll go Missouri over Miami.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Miami.
I was being unbiased, but I'm going to let my bias take over here. All right, Angie, Purdue or Queens? A-Sun represent?
Purdue. As much as I would love to pick Queens,
I'm so glad that West Georgia didn't make the tournament now because I would not want to face Purdue.
I mean, Purdue literally just won the Big Ten. How can I not pick Purdue?
All right, John, Florida or the winner of Perry View and Leah?
I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, okay. I mean, I can't even say no to that. I don't think any of those teams have a shot. All right, I'm going Iowa over Clemson. I'm not a big fan of this Clemson team. I think Iowa's very sneaky.
Okay, I like it.
All right, Andrew, Vanderbilt or McNeese? I think McNeese is a potential sleeper.
McNeese is a potential sleeper, and they have the best assistant manager out of any college basketball program in the nation. But I really like this Vanderbilt team. They gave Arkansas a really tough fight today. So, yeah, give me Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
All right, John, Nebraska and Troy.
Give me Nebraska. I remember one thing that they had a really good season this year, but I know they had some injuries.
Yeah.
Obviously the Big Ten, there's a lot more tougher teams basketball wise, like Iowa, Michigan, Purdue. I mean, so maybe yeah, give me Nebraska. I mean, plus they already smacked West Georgia earlier in the season, so
yeah, that's right.
There's some bias there.
All right, without Caleb Williams and North Carolina's playing Caleb Wilson, excuse me. Without Caleb Wilson, the North Carolina is playing one of the hottest teams in college basketball in VCU. I have VCU taking down North Carolina.
Look, North Carolina does not look that great without Caleb Wilson. I don't think that's a bad pick.
All right, Andrew, Illinois or Pennsylvania?
Illinois. A very exciting win today to win the Ivy League championship. So they're a fun team, but I really like the Fighting Illini here.
I think I know there's someone that Andrew likes on the Illinois. That's why he's saying that. There's bias in that.
Potential sleeper for the Hawks there, eh?
Maybe.
All right, John. St. Mary's or Texas A&M?
Ooh, I'm gonna go St. Mary's.
Wow, that's a good matchup. That's a good matchup.
I like it. I'm gonna have Houston over Idaho. All right, Andrew. Michigan or the winner of UMBC and Howard?
Michigan, definitely Michigan.
All right, John. Georgia or St. Louis?
Georgia, go Dogs! I gotta be biased because we're from Georgia. Gotta be biased,
Ooh, we gotta go Dogs there. Okay, I'm going Texas Tech over Akron. All right, Andrew. Alabama or Hofstra?
Alabama.
All right, John, Tennessee or the winner of Miami, Ohio, and SMU?
I'm gonna go Tennessee.
All right, I'm going Virginia over Wright State. All right, Andrew, Kentucky or Santa Clara? The team that beat Gonzaga in their conference tournament.
I'm not a big fan of this Kentucky team. Very inconsistent, but I think they'll make it out of the first round. Give me Kentucky.
All right, I'm going Iowa State over Tennessee State. All right, going to the round of 32. Andrew, wait,
No,
I jumped in front of John. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, John. Iowa State or Tennessee State? My bad.
Cyclones, Iowa State.
I like it. All right, and now I'm choosing Duke over Ohio State. Andrew, Kansas or St. John's?
Ooh, what a matchup here. Give me. God, this is going to be a fun game because St. John's blew the brakes off UConn in the championship game. But Darian Peterson, as much as I don't like the guy, he could have a monster. Give me St. John's, though. I think St. John's will get by this game.
I think I like the pick.
That's a good matchup, though.
All right, John. Michigan State and Louisville.
You know what? Give me Michigan State still has Tom Izzo. Tom Izzo is one of the greats. Give me Michigan State.
Ooh, I like it. All right. And you know what? Call me crazy, but March Madness is crazy. I think UConn has gotten really shaky lately. Dan Hurley is losing his mind, and we are going to see an all-time crash out when UCF takes down UConn. I am.
UCF is a fun team, man. I don't hate it.
All right. Andrew, Arizona and Villanova.
Arizona.
All right, John. Arkansas or Wisconsin?
Do I have to say it? Do I have to say it?
No.
Woo! Pig Suey!
I already chose Arkansas before you even said it. All right. And then we have Kennesaw State over the winner of Texas and NC State. And I'm sorry, John. I think this is where the Owls' magic ends. I'm going the winner of Texas and NC State here.
Okay.
All right, Andrew, Missouri and Purdue.
Ooh, I really like that matchup. But like I said, Purdue just won the Big Ten. They looked very convincing against Michigan. So, yeah, it's hard to pick against the Boilermakers right now. But I do like that matchup a lot. But give me Purdue.
All right, John, Michigan and Georgia.
You know what? Georgia beat the brakes off Michigan a few years ago in the college football championship. But you know what? This is basketball. Times have changed. Michigan is a basketball school now. Give me Michigan over Georgia.
Okay. I was about to say that would be a crazy upset if Georgia beat Michigan.
No.
I'm gonna have Texas Tech beating Alabama.
Whoa. Okay.
I like the Red Raiders a lot. Alabama has been very inconsistent. They didn't look too great in SEC play, and I think Texas Tech is a team you don't want to play in this tournament. All right, Andrew, Virginia and Tennessee.
Ooh, see, I got big problems with Tennessee. I had big because there's times in the season where they look like one of the best teams in college basketball, but then you've got times where they just lose to some of the most like crappiest teams. Like they lost to Mississippi State early in the year. They lost to someone else really bad early in the year too. I can't remember. Tennessee is just not reliable enough, and Virginia gave Duke a really good game, so give me Virginia.
I like it. All right, John, Iowa State and Kentucky.
I don't want to say this, but I'm gonna have to go with Kentucky.
Ooh.
Look, Mark.
I'm not the highest on Kentucky right now, but they did get a little hot towards the end of the season, so maybe that's possible.
I just can't say that because Arkansas and Kentucky have like a rivalry in basketball now. Because now that we've basically, we haven't really swapped coaches because Musselman's at USC, but
you took their legendary coach.
Yeah. So.
All right. I'm choosing Florida over Iowa. I hate to say it, but there's not a lot of teams. I don't see a lot of teams in the South bracket. Actually, no, that's not true. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. But yeah, I do have Florida over Iowa. Andrew, Nebraska or Vanderbilt?
Nebraska, they've been inconsistent, not really their own fault. They've just been injury prone. But I'm telling you, man, I really like this Vanderbilt team. Give me Vanderbilt.
I do. All right, John, Illinois and VCU.
Illinois.
All right. And I'm choosing Houston over St. Mary's, which brings us into the Sweet 16. Andrew, Duke and St. John's.
That's a fun matchup, but Duke to me is just by far the best team in college basketball. So give me Duke.
Yeah.
All right, John, Michigan State or UCF? Is this where the Knights' magic ends?
You know what? I can't remember exactly who picked UCF. It was one of y'all two.
It was me.
Chase, I'm sorry. This is where their magic dies.
I don't blame you. It's okay. I don't blame you. All right. And then Arizona and Arkansas. You know what, John? I'm a really big fan of Acuff, and I would love if the Hawks pick him up. And I could see Arkansas getting the win here. I'm going to put Arkansas in the Elite Eight over Arizona.
I don't hate it.
Bone over.
Acuff is playing right now, man. I don't hate it.
All right, Andrew. Purdue or the winner of Texas and NC State?
I'm going to have to go Boilermakers here.
All right. John, Michigan or Texas Tech?
Ooh, that is a fun matchup. But you know what? JT Toppin did tear his ACL, so he's not playing. I got to go Michigan.
There we go. I like it. Virginia, Kentucky. I'm just really not high on Kentucky. Virginia, they can be a little sloppy offensively, but I think they're one of the best defensive teams in college basketball. I'm taking Virginia over Kentucky. All right, Andrew. Do we have the rematch here? Florida and Vanderbilt.
Ooh.
See, here's a problem.
And Florida's going to be pissed off, too. Florida's going to be pissed off.
They are.
Here's a problem. It's really hard to beat the same team twice. Florida is so good at rebounding the ball, but if the Commodores can make it all the way to the Sweet 16, then I don't think they're slowing down. I think the Vanderbilt will beat Florida 2 times in a row. So, yes, give me the Commodores.
I do really like this Vanderbilt team, I got to be honest. All right, John. Houston and Illinois. This is a crazy matchup here.
Ooh. You know what? Andrew, I'm sorry. I know you really like but I think Houston takes him out here.
Yeah, it's a toss up. I don't hate it.
Watch the next match be Arkansas and then Andrew like take out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get him out regardless, just because you took Illinois out.
Hey,
you hope the Razorbacks.
Our buddy from high school just texted us, and he says that he has either Duke or Arkansas winning it all, which is who we picked. So he's on board with us.
That's my national championship matchup. Big matchup.
That could very well be the national championship. We are into the Elite Eight. Who just picked? Who just picked the last game?
Me. So it's you.
Right.
No, it's you. Yeah, it's you.
Duke and Michigan State. I think Duke is the best team in college basketball. I think Tom Izzo's team is limited. I'm gonna have Duke go into the Final Four. All right. Oh, Andrew, you had the chance to do it. Purdue and Arkansas.
I knew it.
Oh, look how the cards fell. All right, Andrew, what are you gonna do here?
John, you got lucky on this one, because let me tell you why. I love this Purdue team, but every single year, Purdue can never get over the hump. And I got to say, even though I like this Purdue team, I don't think this is the best Purdue team they've had in the last 5 years. But this is undoubtedly the best team Arkansas has had in recent memory. And look, Acuff he's got a national championship on his mind. So if it was against any other team, I probably would have picked that other team. But as much as I think it'd be funny to pick against Arkansas, I do think Arkansas will win this matchup. So give me Arkansas.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that.
You got lucky. If it was anyone but Purdue, I probably wouldn't have done that. But I don't trust Purdue. I don't.
All right, John. Houston and Vanderbilt.
Oh. You know what? I mean, You know what? This is March for a reason. Give me Vandy.
I
Yes!
love it. I
Let's
love that
go!
pick.
You know what?
I love that pick.
I'm avenging Illinois' loss to Houston.
Let's go. I love
All
that.
right. And then Michigan and Virginia. I think this would be a toss up for me, but I think Michigan is a lot deeper than Virginia, though I think Virginia is better defensively. So I'm gonna have Michigan in a really close game over Virginia.
Okay.
That leads us to the final four. Andrew, you got the first matchup, Duke and Vanderbilt.
Ah, man. Yeah. As much as I would love to pick Vandy, I can't do it, man. Give me Duke.
All right, John, you got the next matchup, Michigan and Arkansas.
Do I have to say it?
Do it.
You
Yes. Give us Duke and Arkansas, man. That would be
that
such a good national.
ARKANA
Arkansas.
NAR AAR.
It's on your jersey, man.
I can't even spell it. It's on my jersey. I can't even spell it. ARKANSAS. There we go.
There we go. There we go. All right, that leads us to the national championship, Duke and Arkansas.
I think
So-
the national I think the national championship we should all pick.
I agree.
Even though
All
I
right.
know which one to go, but
I'm going for Duke because that's who I have winning the national championship anyway. Andrew, who do you have? We know who John has. I know John's going Arkansas. So Andrew, you're the tiebreaker here.
Listen, I've said all season long that I think Duke's the best team in college basketball, and I'm gonna have to back it up with my bracket. So I'm gonna pick Duke in my bracket. So
That's
I feel
okay.
like I have to pick Duke.
that's okay. I mean, we all can't. This is like a three-way, it's a three-way decision, and it's two teams. So we all can't disagree. But I respect it. Duke is by far the best team in this tournament.
Hey,
Look,
But
it's a
Duke-
toss-up, man.
But
It's a toss-up.
this is March. This is March.
Duke?
I got that's my only argument. It's March, and
Duke? Duke and Arkansas, that could very well be in the national championship game, and that would be a phenomenal.
Back on Thanksgiving. We saw that matchup.
That would be
Absolutely.
a fire rematch for the national championship. But our unofficial sporadic bracket has Duke over Arkansas in the national championship. All right, fellas.
Was this your actual bracket for my bracket challenge? Or
No, not my official bracket. I'm gonna sit down probably either tonight or tomorrow night, and I'll start filling out my brackets.
okay.
All right, fellas. Any closing remarks before we end this episode?
I had to use the bathroom really bad.
This
so
was
I'm gonna
fun.
say no.
This was fun. This is a good March Madness edition of.
Great episode.
I agree. I agree. I completely agree. But we got about an hour and a half before the real bracket is revealed, and we'll see what seed our Seminoles get.
Yes, sir.
Yep. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode 71 of Talking ATL Hawks March Madness edition. We will see you guys next week.
Let's go!